Greetings, this is Animatronic-Artistry and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the Marionette and how I believe there was more of them. When it comes to the Five Nights at Freddy's characters, a lot of people think that they are just singular and there aren't any other just like them. But keep in mind that these are animatronics built in a factory. So they must have others just like them out there in other restaurants. I believe the toy animatronics are an exception because they are prototypes. The same thing goes for the Funtime animatronics. They could be prototypes as well. But when it comes to the Marionette, I believe that there could be others just like her out there in the wild, aka other restaurants. The reason why I say this is because in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, there is a mask on the wall of the Marionette. And then we know that in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, you can see her in the hallway as an Easter egg. So, if there was only one Marionette, then where did the mask come from? My theory is that maybe Marionette has several others just like her out there. The Phantom Puppet could be the owner of the mask on the wall. The Phantom Puppet is a strange one because she is completely burnt. We actually do not know which fire she burnt in, and sure, she could be just a phantom, but of the puppet did not burn, at least not in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So who is she the phantom of? That's why I say that Phantom Puppet could be the phantom of a different puppet. One from a different restaurant that we have never heard of. So yeah, now let's talk about what the puppet is made out of, because there's a bit of confusion on what she's made out of. Most people think that she is a plush animatronic with a super flexible endoskeleton. But to me, she feels that she's made out of wood. The Phantom Puppet kind of tells you that she's made out of wood because of the texture on her face and her body, which is a burnt wood texture that she has. The name Marionette is from the Italian word Marionetta. So, and usually these puppets are made out of wood. So who's to say that Marionette is made out of wood as well? Sure, I know that in Help Wanted, she is seen all flexible and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that she's made out of wood, and then later on, they changed her material to be more flexible and plush-like. But going back to how many puppets it might be, I'm pretty sure that there could be more of her out there, because there just has to be more of her because she's an animatronic. And even though people think that she's one of a kind, I highly doubt that. Secrets of the Mimic kind of tells us that there could be more because there are more of the same character in the game. So who's to say that there could be other marionettes? I believe that the security puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's 6 could be one of these variants that she has that existed around the same time that the Fnaf Theory's 2 Marionette existed, and not after her, if that makes sense. The puppet that we know, she lost her security feature But I'm pretty sure that the other puppets and other restaurants could still have and be a security puppet, if that makes sense. But what do you all think about this subject? Are there other puppets out there? It's pretty strange because a puppet is the one character that has almost no variants of her made. So it makes me think that maybe in the in-game universe, there must be a lot of other puppets made. Because if you think about it, the Marionette is a very simple character design-wise. So she must have and be a mass-produced character. But I'm pretty sure that those other puppets could have been retired when the first puppet, aka Marionette, failed to protect Charlotte. So the factory that mass-produced the Marionette, MCM in its prime, stopped producing Marionette models and began creating security puppets, aka Fnaf Theory 6 security puppets. So the Marionette could have been designed by Fiona Murray, and maybe the first one, aka Marionette herself, could have been installed at Fredbear's family diner like we see in Fnaf Theory 6. And maybe at the same time as Marionette herself, she could have had twin siblings made at the same time as her, each having a different design, just like those characters from Secrets of the Mimic, that each of them have their own little design details to make them different from their original counterparts. What happened to those other puppets is unknown. They could be in storage somewhere in MCM or somewhere in other restaurants. We actually do not know. The security puppet from Fnaf Theory 6 could be one of those examples taken out of storage. But only the future will hold if we will ever see another Marionette besides the one we know already. It is unknown if the other Marionettes can do the same thing the Marionette we know can do, if that makes sense. Like giving gifts, giving life, flying around, having a music box. We don't know. Speaking of flying around, we never seen Marionette walk around. I guess because people think that she's like very flexible, that she has no joints. But I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, she's made of wood. So I'm pretty sure she has the ability to walk around like a normal animatronic can. But we do not know if that's the case. In fact, we don't even know what makes the Marionette fly. It's not the strings, because she can go anywhere. So what in the world is making her fly by herself? Because in Fnaf Theory 6, we can see in a minigame that she, before she was haunted, she had the ability to fly on her own. So if someone can explain that to me, that could be a great help. What is making the Marionette fly on her own? Because we do not know what it is. A lot of people will say, oh, it's just the spirit that's making her fly on her own. But like I said earlier, she did that before Charlotte even died to be her spirit. Just let that sink in a bit. And speaking of other puppets out there, can we just imagine that maybe Lefty has the wrong puppet inside of him? think about it because it just makes sense. How can Lefty know which puppet to look for? Because Henry, I'm pretty sure, has no idea what a marionette is. So I'm pretty sure Lefty just captured a different puppet. And what about Security Puppet from Final Fantasy 46? Wouldn't that confuse Lefty into thinking that that puppet is the marionette he's supposed to look for? And in reality, we have no idea when Lefty captured the marionette. That's why I think that maybe the marionette he has is a different one. Possibly the Phantom Marionette, if that makes sense. Because a Phantom Marionette is burnt, like I said earlier. Could that be the Fast 46 fire that she burnt in? The answer is unlikely, but it could have been the Fall Fest fire. That's why I think that marionette, aka Phantom Marionette, could have been another marionette, if that makes sense. A twin to the marionette we know. It just makes sense. I don't know what else to explain the Phantom Marionette besides it being just a phantom, because I highly doubt it's just a phantom. The Phantom Marionette must be the spirit of another marionette from the Fall Fest. What's interesting about the Phantom Marionette is that in Final Fantasy's world, she is depicted with teeth. The only other marionette we know that has teeth is Nightmarion, so could they be related? It makes sense because according to the books, the nightmare animatronics are not real. They are created by a special gas that makes you think that a normal animatronic is all nightmarish and scary. That's why I think that maybe the Phantom Marionette was used in a Final Fantasy 4 house to create Nightmarion, because we know Nightmarion is not real. He was just created by the special gas. So I'm gonna end it here. If you guys want me to continue this rant again, just tell me and I'll continue. That's all from me. Goodbye.